A Day to Forget, Tom's Odyssey. Chapter 1. The Start of a Nightmare. Tom Carter's day began with the jarring realization that his alarm clock had betrayed him. Instead of the usual blaring beep at 6:30 a.m., he awoke to the dim, accusatory glow of his clock reading 7:45 a.m. Panic set in immediately. He had a crucial presentation at 9 a.m., and his office was a 45-minute drive away. He leaped out of bed, knocking over the glass of water on his nightstand, which promptly soaked his phone charger and the pile of documents he had meticulously arranged the night before. Cursing under his breath, he scrambled to get ready, his morning routine now a frantic blur. There was no time for breakfast, not even a quick coffee. Tom's car, an aging sedan that had seen better days, added to his woes. He turned the key and the engine made a sputtering, coughing sound before dying. He tried again and again, each time with the same result. Desperate, he grabbed his briefcase and bolted towards the nearest bus stop. The weather seemed to conspire against him. A sudden downpour drenched him within minutes, and by the time he reached the bus stop, he was soaked to the skin. As he stood shivering, he watched the bus pull away, its taillights disappearing around the corner. The next one wouldn't arrive for another 20 minutes. Chapter 2. Trials on the Commute. Tom finally boarded the next bus, which was predictably packed. He squeezed into a narrow space, awkwardly balancing his briefcase and trying not to invade anyone's personal space. The bus jerked forward, causing him to stumble into a fellow passenger, who shot him a dirty look. The ride was a nightmare. Traffic was horrendous, and every stop seemed to take an eternity. Tom's eyes kept darting to his watch, each passing minute increasing his anxiety. He could feel the sweat trickling down his back, mixing with the rainwater and making his clothes cling uncomfortably to his skin. By the time the bus reached his stop, it was already 8:55 a.m. Tom bolted from the bus, sprinting the remaining blocks to his office. He burst through the doors of Carter & Associates, his family's law firm, disheveled and breathless. He caught a glimpse of his reflection in the polished glass walls, a drowned rat in a suit. Chapter 3. Office Ordeal. As he hurried to the conference room, he could already hear the murmurs of his colleagues and the booming voice of his father, Richard Carter, the firm's founder and senior partner. Richard was known for his temper and his intolerance for tardiness, especially on important days like this. Tom took a deep breath and entered the room, trying to appear composed. The room fell silent, all eyes turning towards him. His father's icy glare made him feel even smaller. "Nice of you to join us, Tom," Richard said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Perhaps you'd like to start us off." Tom nodded, trying to suppress the nervous tremor in his hands. He opened his briefcase, only to find the papers soaked and the ink smeared. His heart sank. There was no way he could salvage the presentation from these ruined documents. Stammering, he began to speak, trying to recall the key points from memory. His mind, however, was a jumbled mess. He stumbled over his words, the confidence he had built over weeks of preparation evaporating under the pressure. The expressions of his colleagues ranged from pity to annoyance. His father's face was a mask of controlled fury. Chapter 4. The Lunch Debacle. The disastrous meeting finally ended, and Tom slunk back to his desk. He could hear the whispers and see the sideways glances as he walked past. He felt humiliated, his father's disappointment weighing heavily on his shoulders. He decided to take a break and grab lunch, hoping a bit of food might restore some semblance of normalcy. The cafeteria was crowded, and the line seemed endless. When he finally reached the counter, he discovered that his wallet was missing. After a frantic search through his pockets and briefcase, he realized he must have dropped it during his mad dash earlier. Feeling defeated, Tom opted for the meager emergency cash he kept hidden in his desk drawer. He bought a stale sandwich and a lukewarm coffee, retreating to his office to eat in solitude. As he took his first bite, the sandwich crumbled, spilling its contents onto his already stained pants. To make matters worse, his phone buzzed with a notification from the bank. His account was overdrawn. The automatic payment for his car loan had gone through, but it left him with a negative balance. He groaned, realizing he'd have to deal with yet another problem before the day was over.